Anthony Davis is out indefinitely. And that is, oh man, I feel so bad for Mavs fans. In addition, Giannis is out, so there will be two new All-Stars being named by Adam Silver. So let's talk about it. First of all, I know, so sad. Anthony Davis is reportedly out indefinitely now. Shams said that he is out for at least a few weeks with the injury that happened in the game in his debut, right? There was another report that I saw that said there is fear that he is out indefinitely. So I guess you could say, a few weeks could be determined indefinitely, but not really. So like there are at least a few weeks he's going to be out, and it could be longer. So if you're a Dallas Maverick fan, man, you got it rough right now. I feel so bad for them because they're already upset that you just traded away your franchise player in just traded away your franchise player in Luka Doncic, right? And now, even though Anthony Davis looked great in the first half, like he really looked good, but now in his first game, after his first game, he's out indefinitely. That is just, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any words for that. I just feel really bad for Mavs fans, and obviously Anthony Davis for having to be out and be injured. But like, do we think that, Nico Harrison's job might be on the line now? Because he is the GM, so his job is to, build the team in order to have the best chance to win and stuff like that. And although majority of us did not agree with the decision to trade Luka, at least, like I said, in the first half, Anthony Davis was playing amazing. So I'm sure there was some hope amongst Mavs fans. Like, okay, maybe we can make some noise with this team, right? Even if long term they thought we can't do anything because we don't have Luka. But now he goes out indefinitely. Like, do you think Nico Harrison's job is on the line right now? I don't know if it is, but this is not a good look. This is not a good look because you can't have the player you traded your franchise player for go down in the first game. And I understand, obviously, it's not his fault that AD got hurt because, it's not his fault. He's not playing. But it was your decision to trade for him, despite knowing that he had an extensive injury history. And when you traded for him, he was already hurt. He was already nursing an injury. So, like, while, again, he didn't injure AD himself, this is just not a good look. This is not a good look. I heard some of his team members quiet because of the Luka trade. I don't know what that means. Some of his team members are quiet? What does that mean? What does that mean that he's quiet because of the Luka trade? I'm not sure what that means. But are you saying, like, the team members are just, like, not speaking to the front office because of the Luka trade? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. But, like, yeah, it's rough being a Mavs fan right now. And I saw a report today that Mark Cuban apparently tried to, stop the trade, but it was too late at that point because, as we know, they kept this trade in secret from everybody. Those are the reports that nobody else knew except for the two GMs and obviously the two owners. And so, just like Danny Ainge apparently only found out like 30 minutes before, and by the time he found out that he was helping facilitate this trade because he didn't know, it was too late. And so apparently Mark Cuban also, whenever he found out, like, whenever that timeline was, it was too late for him to do anything about it either, apparently. So, like, this is just a mess. This is really a mess. It's just a mess. That's all I can say. And then Giannis is also out for a few weeks. Now, his timeline is not indefinite. He is expected to return probably after All-Star break. He has a calf strain. And so, like, it's not going to be a super long-term injury, so that's good news for the Bucks fans. But at the same time, because he's not going to be able to play in the All-Star game, and neither will Anthony Davis, they are going to have to name two new All-Stars. So this is kind of a, the fun part. Like, obviously, it's not fun that two players got hurt. That's not what I'm saying. Like, we want everybody to be healthy. But I'm saying the fun part in that we get to see two guys who may have been snubbed for the All-Star team now have a chance to actually make it. So that's like the silver lining, you know what I mean? And so for the Eastern Conference, I think the candidates are obviously Trae Young. You could say LaMelo Ball. I'm trying to think who else would be like an actual candidate besides those two. Like, I feel like those two are the clear-cut first choices. And it's not that somebody else couldn't be an all-star, but I feel like they were going to get picked first over somebody else. So I'm going to say it goes to Trae Young because I think Trae Young deserves it. LaMelo obviously is having a crazy season with the stats. Actually, didn't LaMelo just get hurt? I think LaMelo's out, or did he just come back from an injury? He was just hurt like a minute ago. But regardless, like, I think I would give it to Trae Young. Like, I think Trae Young played like an all-star this year, and I thought he should have made the team originally. And so, like, this will be just, great news for him to make the all-star team. Do I think Steve Nash will ever come back? What do you mean? Do I think Steve Nash will ever come back? Like, to play in the NBA? I don't know about that. So, what was it? Oh, yeah. So, I think Trae Young is going to be an all-star. That's my opinion. That's why I think it's selected. And then in the Western Conference, if you watch this page, I've been rooting for Norman Powell to be selected as an all-star. And obviously, he did not make it. And I felt like that was disappointing because I felt like he really deserved it. And he's never made an all-star team before, so this would be his first one. And so we do have a couple of candidates in the Western Conference who could be all-stars, though. It's not just him. People can make a case and have made a case for Sabonis. Obviously, like I said, Norman Powell. Some people have made a case for Jalen Green. I'm not sure Jalen Green would get it, but people have made cases for him. Ja Morant. I don't think he'll get selected either, but people have made, an argument for him. And then who else? I'm trying to think if there's anybody else who would be like in contention. Maybe Devin Booker. People have been arguing for him as well. I feel like the top two options, in my opinion, are probably Sabonis and Norman Powell, just because I feel like similar to in the East, although there are other people who could be an all-star who are having nice seasons, I feel like those two are were next up, if that makes sense. Like, if there was two more spots, those two probably would have been selected. That's how I see it. And so with that mindset, I'm going to say that, well, I don't know. Okay, so if it was me, I'm going to pick Norman Powell because I'm just rooting for him to get his first all-star appearance. But it's not even like he doesn't deserve it because he does. He's having an incredible season. It really could go either way. It could go to Norman Powell or it could go to Sabonis. It just depends. Like, the Kings also have been, not the best this season. Also, people are making a case for De'Aaron Fox, too. I almost forgot about him. But because he just got traded to a new team, I'm not sure he's going to get an all-star appearance. I don't know why, but I just feel like that makes a difference. And so, obviously the Kings are in, 11th place right now. So I think Adam Silver might pick a player who is on a more winning team as the, selection. And so with that, I'll go with Norman Powell. Just, because I'm rooting for him too. So, but I really do think he deserves it. So I'm going to go with Norman Powell in the West and Trae Young in the East. Those are my opinions on, who's going to be selected for the All-Star game as a replacement for Anthony Davis and Giannis. But going back to the Anthony Davis thing, I mean, man, that is just rough news. I don't even know what to think because you know what's funny? After the game, Anthony Davis said he didn't think it was serious. It didn't seem like it was serious to him. So it's kind of crazy how the next day it's determined that it is serious. Because you would think if it was something serious, Anthony Davis would have felt that type of pain. You know what I mean? A type of pain that would keep him out several weeks. I feel like he would feel that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he didn't feel that kind of pain, apparently by his comments, and that it was determined that it's actually a long-term injury is kind of crazy. Oh, shout out to Eyeball Right. He's in the building. AD out is crazy. Mavs fan punching the air. Yeah, it's, I really just don't have words for it because it's, like I said in the last live stream, we don't want anybody to get injured, of course, but it's something we all saw happening as a possibility. Like I said, I don't want to say right on cue because that's just like such a sad thing to say because you don't want to say that about someone getting injured. But literally, his debut and he gets hurt and he's out indefinitely. We all saw this happening as a possibility. Like, that's why the trade made no sense because they were saying that they were trading him because of his lack of conditioning and they didn't think that he could stay healthy and whatever. But you're trading for a player who's like 7 years older and has extensive injury history. And I know I've said that on every, live stream that I've talked about this topic, so I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I'm just saying it because it's true. And that's why it just doesn't make sense. Like, their reasoning doesn't make sense to us. That's our opinion. Someone said, why did the Mavs give up Luka for an injury-prone player? That's what we're saying. Like, AD is great. Like, when AD is healthy, he's great. Like, there is no denying that AD is a super talented, good player. Like, he is amazing on defense. We saw the stat line he put up in the first half of the game when he made his Mavs debut. He did something that hasn't been done since like the 1970s. He did like 25 points, like 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, like some kind of stat line that hasn't been done in like 50 years or 40 years, whatever it was. So like, that's the type of player he can be. So it's no shame or shade rather at Anthony Davis. But similar to like Joel Embiid, for example, who is struggling right now to be healthy, and we see him out there on the court. And actually there's a report today that Joel Embiid thinks he's going to need another surgery and a long recovery time in order to actually get his knee back to healthy. Like, he literally said that he thinks he needs another surgery. But we know when Joel Embiid is healthy, he's been the MVP of the league. And was it last year? I think it was last year. When the first half of the season, when he was healthy, before he got hurt, he was playing better than his MVP season. Like, he was so dominant, it was actually scary. Like, really scary. And then all of a sudden, unfortunately, he got hurt again. And this has been his issue throughout his career. When he's healthy, dominant player, but gets injured a ton. And so with Anthony Davis, although AD has been healthy primarily the last couple of years, in general, he has had a lot of injury issues. And so it's not like the Mavs didn't know this. That's why it's like doesn't make sense to us. Like, the Mavs knew what his injury history was. Like, yes, we know the type of player that Anthony Davis can be, but like, it's just like, how many teams right now would trade for Joel Embiid? There would be some out there for sure because like the potential is crazy, but the risk is really high right now for Joel Embiid. And it's the fact that you gave up your franchise player in this deal. Like, if it was a trade where it was Luka for Giannis, then I feel like fans would feel better because, one, I think people think that Giannis is better than Anthony Davis. But even besides that, at least you feel pretty confident Giannis will be there. Giannis will be healthy. Yes, he's had some injuries, but like nothing like Anthony Davis. So like, again, no shade to AD. Great, great player when he's healthy. But like, the fans don't get it. Like, you're risking the entire next decade of your franchise on AD staying healthy for 2 seasons because his contract, is not is the next 2 years, I believe. He has 2 more years left on his contract. And you're risking your entire next decade on winning a championship this year. And don't forget, Kyrie Irving is a free agent, I believe, this summer. If Kyrie Irving wants to leave, he can leave. So if they don't win a championship this year and Kyrie leaves, what are you, like, you mortgaged your whole future on this one trade. Again, if you were trading Luka for Jokic, let's say, who everybody thinks is the best player in the league, right? I feel like fans would be like, okay, that kind of makes sense because you feel like if you got Jokic, you have a great chance to win the championship, especially with all the players on the Mavericks. But like, I don't know that people think, and I'm just saying what people, around are thinking. I'm not saying this is true or not. Like, I'm not saying they can't win a championship with AD. But the consensus is not that they're better with AD, if that makes sense, right? Like, the fit may be better in terms of like, he's, obviously a very good defender, and he doesn't play the same position as Kyrie, which was an issue for Luka and Kyrie at first, trying to fit together. But at the end of the day, like, I haven't seen anybody who thought that long term this was a better deal, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you had a decade of chances to win a championship with Luka. Like, you're only getting like 1 or 2 shots with AD. That's it. So I don't understand that logic. Somebody said, I can't remember the last time a contending team gave up their franchise player in their prime. Me either. Like, I don't know. I don't know of any trade when that happened. I don't know of any, like, 25 years old, first time All NBA for like 5 straight seasons, just took your team to the NBA Finals this year. We're not talking about like 5 years ago. This is something he did this year. And you're like, we can't go any further with him? How does that make sense? You literally went further with him every single year. Like, every single year. Obviously, like I said, the year that Kyrie got there, they missed the playoffs completely because they were like struggling to fit together or whatever. But in general, Luka has taken this team further every time he's gotten to the playoffs. He made a Western Conference Finals appearance, of course, and now again, he just made the NBA Finals. So like, how much further can you go? The only further you can go is winning the championship. If you're telling me you don't think Luka can win a championship within the next decade, I don't know. Like, now everything's completely different, so we'll see. But like, there's no way you're telling me you had 10 years, give or take, of trying to win with Luka and you don't think there was a chance when you just made the finals? I don't know. Can't understand that. Can't understand it. But thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this live and see you soon. Bye!